Oh, good to see you. Good to see everyone. Good to see everybody. Hello. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's Monday. And well, you guys may have a good day. You guys may be having a bad day, but you're not Hannah Reed, and she's getting sentenced today, so I think it's fair to say she's having a bad day. Welcome everybody if you happen to be new. My name's Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and I do criminal defense work and obviously name of this channel. We try to focus on criminal related topics. We do stream trials. We're right now working through the George Kelly trial. He's the rancher down in Arizona that is accused of murdering one of the illegal migrants that was running back and forth across the border. We're doing that. We also cover topics, all kinds of topics that pop up throughout the law. So if you guys are new here today, welcome, welcome. And we are briefly going to start the Hannah Reed sentencing here, but I'm going to curious to see what you guys are talking about so far. Oh, Sunshine was first. Congratulations. Aaron says, "Hey, Sean. Hello. Hello." Karam says, "I'm here. You can start now." Oh, thank you. Thank you. The suspenders look good. Thank you. Well, James says, "Can we fast forward to Friday?" I don't know if I want to fast forward that fast yet. Luke says there's another Richard Allen motion today. Not surprised. I mean, could it really be Richard Allen without any motions and ridiculous stuff happening? I'm sure the judge is going to deny this one too. But maybe I'll take a look at it tonight. And if you guys are new, we do shows involving locals. If you guys don't know where locals is just like Patreon. So over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com, we cover all kinds of topics. It's stuff we can't talk about here. Stuff that's not appropriate for YouTube, stuff that doesn't work with the show titles. I mean, we talk about legal things here. You know, if we're talking about like Formula One racing, which I like, if we're talking about any other thing really, that's where we go to as locals, just because it's a lot of fun there. We're also not beholden by the same rules. And tonight, for example, is one of those nights where we do a live show. That live show, we've been kind of cross doing the show with the YouTube members. It's been a lot of fun. It seems like everybody's been enjoying that. And thank you. I like going blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors. Blue is one of my favorite colors. So I like wearing blue. Did anybody hear from Joe today? He took the train in, I bet. So we are going to get right into this, guys. Hannah Reed is up for sentencing. So what's going to happen typically? I haven't seen this yet. I've been told it's a little weird. The way this normally works is the prosecution goes first. They have the victim impact statements, family, friends, whoever come in. They talk about like, oh my God, I miss Elena. She's so sad she's gone. Blah, 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 blah. Not minimizing it. I'm just telling you that's how that goes. And then the defense gets to go. If they have anybody from their family saying, like, oh my God, Hannah's so great, blah, 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 blah. That's how that goes. And then Jason Bowles will speak, or Hannah might speak, whatever order they want to speak in. And then they'll talk, and then the judge will do her thing. So let's find out how this goes. Hold on one second, chat. Sorry, I thought I heard my phone buzzing, and I was like, where the heck is that coming from? And it was just a little weird out there. So here we go, guys. We are using the Law and Crime people, is what it is. And they have some of the better coverage here, and they got their nice little Chiron going. And just to put my own little flair on it. Wow! Check that out, Law and Crime. Deal with it. All right, here we go. Oh, that's just a smidge too far over. Whoops. Ah, well, covered it up for the most part. Here we go. So here comes Kerry Morrissey and the defense team. That must be, I don't know who all these people are. So don't try to spoil it, guys. Don't try to spoil it. Oh, there's Gloria Allred. I don't know. Well, yeah, she's great. I'm glad she's here. We really need her presence in America. And then over on Hannah's side, I don't know if that's really people's support for. Oh, there's Stel Reed in the back. There's Stel Reed, Hannah's dad. Oh, here comes Hannah. Oh. I wonder if she's got. Does she have naturally curly hair, or are the girls in the block helping in the pods helping her get her hair done? Because that's pretty nice. Pretty nice for jail. Uh-oh, why do we lose sound? What's the deal here? Why are we not turning this up? Come on. Oh, they're at, oh, looks like they're at a they're up at the bench. Okay, so here we go.
I'm calling is State of New Mexico versus Hannah Gutierrez,
Oh, we're gonna
D101CR
post this.
2023-40. Parties taken.
Boosted.
Kerry Morrissey and Jason Lewis on behalf of the State of New Mexico.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Bowles and Carmela Cisneros are here from Ms. Gutierrez Reed, who is also.
Oh, we you found out what that lady's name is, but that behind Hannah looks like reporters. So I don't think Hannah's got too many friends today, but that's not a surprise.
State of New Mexico.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Bowles and Carmela Cisneros are here from Ms. Gutierrez Reed, who is also present.
All right, thank you. All right, this is a sentencing. Let's proceed.
Jason Bowles brought his gypsy necromancer along with him today. I curse you.
Let's get the microphone on. Your Honor,
Also, I apologize. There are no closed captions available, guys, so you're going to have to deal with that.
I wasn't sure exactly what recommendation would be appropriate in this unprecedented case until last week when I completed the review of Ms. Gutierrez's jail calls. It was my sincere hope during this process that there would be some moment when Ms. Gutierrez took responsibility, expressed some level of remorse that was genuine, and that moment has never come. Ms. Gutierrez continues to refuse to accept responsibility for her role in the death of Halyna Hutchins. Rather than accept responsibility, she has chosen to place blame on the witnesses who testified against her, me, you, the jurors, the set medic, and the paramedics who tried to save Ms. Hutchins' life. Her jail calls, and there were probably close to 200 of them, tell us who Ms. Gutierrez really is. And in the state's opinion, the content and tone of her calls demonstrates that Ms. Gutierrez should not receive any type of a reduced sentence. Halyna Hutchins died due to a cascade of safety violations that began with Ms. Gutierrez introducing live rounds to the movie set, loading one into a prop gun, telling the members of the crew that it was a cold gun, thereby ensuring that it would make its way into the hands of Mr. Baldwin.
Okay, guys, yeah, this is not a good look. If you've come in there and I don't know what she said in there might have been a pre-sentence investigation report, because ultimately, you know, the judge went through the trial, but she doesn't know anything about Hannah. She doesn't know her history, anything about her, all the things that would be helpful in her determining what's a proper sentence. Well, part of your PSI, pre-sentence investigation report, is you give your own account of the events, and that's where you could put your own spin on things, but don't bullshit. And it really depends. Like, what did Hannah say? What did she do? It sounds like she accepted no blame, which that's not going to work. Yeah, that's right, Clyde. It's not going to work. You got to accept some blame. I mean, you could say, yeah, I'm sorry for what happened and I didn't mean for it to turn out this way. And you could spin it, but you got to own up to it a little bit. If you don't, ooh, Lord child. And it sounds like Hannah didn't do that, which kind of goes par for the course because we heard in her first interview, she wasn't, she was trying to tell the detectives, like, I'm a big fancy movie armor. And she accepted no blame or felt bad, really. So here we go. It's already set the tone.
Conduct absent responsibility or remorse is deserving of a sentence of 18 months in the Department of Corrections with a designation as a serious violent offender. And that is what the state will be requesting today. And those are the only arguments I intend to make in terms of sentence.
Hold on. Whoa. Serious violent offender. They're going to slap her with a serious violent offender. Okay, yes, it's a crime of violence technically. But is this who you use a serious violent offender statute for? I already know the answer in New Mexico. The answer is no. It is not meant for this. Was this a crime of violence? Yes, in the sense that someone died. But it's not violence in the sense of someone getting stabbed in a robbery or beat to death or any of the traditional types of murders or homicide offenses. To argue this is a crime of violence, it's a serious violent offender? Really? You're really going to consider this level of negligence as serious violence? Oh, fucking pull that fucking dildo out, Carrie. Come on. This is not a crime of serious violence. That is the state being angry and running up the score because they only have 18 months. That's why they're doing this. If they could have given her more time, they would have. They are just butt blasted. How dare she? And now they want to run up the score. They're using this is what the state does, guys. They use everything at their disposal to run up the score if they don't like you. If you don't kowtow, it's the way they want. They're going to burn you. And now they're burning her. Just absolute garbage. That right there is pathetic. For Clyde, I'm going to put you down, Bubba. That is absolute garbage. Absolute garbage by the state to do that. Oh, I don't like how she did this. Fuck her. And anybody out there saying this is an okay application of law is full of themselves. That's not what this is meant for. It's not who this is meant for. This is an abuse. This is an abuse of the law.
I would like to move into the presentation of the witnesses who would like to address the court on behalf of Ms. Hutchins and her family.
Thank you.
I would like to start with Craig Mizrahi. Mr. Mizrahi.
Yes, guys, 18 months is the maximum sentence.
Your Honor, my name is Craig Mizrahi, and I was Helena's agent. I was compelled to be present today.
Okay, is your mic on? Can you
Yes.
talk a little into the mic?
More into the mic. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I was compelled to be present today to express the impact.
As her agent, I'm here to lament the amount of earnings she would have made, and I wasn't able to get my customary 18% of whatever she made. Truly, she's taken food out of my family's mouth. How many people are really friends with their agent? Come on. Are we gonna have everybody from the motion picture industry come in? Somebody from the Academy Awards come in and be like, Your Honor, well, Clyde. Honey, Clyde stepped in a turd and pawed on my leg. Anyway, I'm glad I got Clorox wipes. This is great. But yes, somebody from the Academy Awards say, Helena would have won an Oscar. We know she was good, but now she can't because Hannah Reid killed her. This is so bad, Your Honor. Such a bad thing. Oh, wait, this is just mud. Okay, that's actually better. God, I was worried for a second. Jeez, they tracking a dog turd in the house. Scary. But yes, it's all I can't now make money, Your Honor. I gotta go out and shill for new clients. This has been a travesty. Oy vey.
To the loss of Helena, who was a cherished friend, wife, mother, and artist, senselessly lost on October 21st, 2021. I was first introduced to Helena when a mutual friend sent me samples of her cinematography. I was pleasantly surprised to see how mature and refined it was, especially given the small budgets she was working with. I imagined what she could do if given the time and resources of a large film, and I instantly knew I wanted to work with her. What stood out for me was her passion, her intense preparation, her resourcefulness and creativity on set, and the kindness and generosity she showed to all those she worked with. In getting to know her husband, Matt, it was clear that he and their son, Andros, supported every career move she made and accepted the very difficult reality that she would have to travel for work very often. This rare combination of talent, work ethic, collaboration, and family support was what truly set her apart. In 2021, Helena's star continued to rise. Her name was mentioned around Hollywood as someone to watch, and just 2 weeks before she began on Rust, Helena got her first meeting on a big studio film. She came in a close second for that job, and instead of focusing on why it didn't go her way, she felt great confidence that she was finally playing with the big boys. When Rust came her way, she felt excited for the visual challenge that a Western would bring. She enjoyed meeting the director, Joel, and believed in his vision for the film, so we went for it. 2 days before she died, Helena called me. It was very late, but she wanted to say she just had dinner with Joel and Alec, and she was so happy to be working with them. She felt the film would be a great next step and was excited for what was to come in 2022. I agreed and said, "Sleep well. Tomorrow's another big day." That was the last time I spoke to Helena. October 21st was a fateful day that would change the lives of so many. Most of all, Andros, who at 9 years old would have to somehow comprehend the terrifying reality of losing his mother in this way. In the time that's passed, while the pain persists, the circumstances surrounding the disaster force upon us so many questions, with one in particular above all: how could this have happened? It's my opinion that, generally speaking, film producers are responsible to ensure the cast and crew members hired are experienced enough to handle their jobs. And when it comes to hiring the armorer on a Western, I believe safety is the only job. So when the producers hired someone with virtually no experience to not only be the armorer, but also the assistant prop master, two very challenging positions in their own right, they made a crucial decision to put the safety of their cast and crew on the back burner. As for Ms. Gutierrez-Reed, it's my opinion that she should not have held either position, much less both, but that once accepted, the responsibility should have been taken more seriously. Sadly, it wasn't, and we all know the result. Since that terrible day, I've spoken with hundreds of producers, film executives, and directors about how we can come together as an industry to make sets safer from gun violence. But the truth is that if Ms. Gutierrez-Reed and the producers of Rust
Gun violence. Come on. This really wasn't. I'll show you gun violence, homie.
simply followed the decades-old written guidelines for the film industry, specifically the use of firearms and ammunition, this tragedy would never have happened. In that sense, I hope we can all agree that this was not a simple accident. It was a chain of events that led to the killing of someone, and that chain would have been broken if the armorer was doing the job she was hired to do. I often think about what Helena's future would have been, and it makes me smile. I can assure you it would have been bright, filled with spending time with Andros and watching him grow up. She would have been able to help her support her family in Ukraine, especially when they needed her most through the horror of war. She would have traveled the world shooting beautiful images and eventually becoming the director that would change hearts and minds with her poignant and purposeful storytelling. In the end, she'd likely finish her career as she started, at the American Film Institute, giving back to the next generation of filmmakers. Sadly, we'll never know because Helena's life was taken away from us much too soon. So today we stand determined to seek justice for Helena, to hold accountable those responsible for her death, and to ensure that such a tragedy never occurs again. I want to thank Ms. Morrissey and her team for having me here today, and thank you, Your Honor, for your service in the case.
Thank you.
Emilia Mendieta.
I mean, I think that was a very,
Your Honor.
I think ultimately it's very poignant at the end. Very poignant. Just pointing out we lost, maybe not the next, Federico Fellini or, Sergio Leone, or it's any other filmmaker you want to, Stanley Kubrick, whoever, the next Ridley Scott. Who knows if she would have been that good? But yeah, she was a talented woman who undeservedly died. There was no reason for her to die. Yet for some reason she did. And that some reason is Hannah Reid, and the other reason is Alec Baldwin. So at the end, I think that was actually well put together. But like, yeah, I'm Morty, her agent. Holy Faye, all the business lost. So here we go. Who's this?
My name is Emilia Mendieta. I was one of Helena's best friends and one of her colleagues and a classmate of hers at the American Film Institute Conservatory. Helena and I met on August 2013 in the registration line on our first day at the American Film Institute Conservatory. I was quietly suffering through a small bout of imposter syndrome and desperately trying to hide my nerves about officially starting the cinematography program. I don't think I was hiding them very well because this joyful, energetic woman bounced right over to me and invited me out to lunch.
I don't know who this is. I have no idea what okay, she went to school with her, but I don't think is she a famous film person? Checks. And I'm not knocking her. I just don't know. I don't know who she is. So if she's like a famous film person, let me know. But I've never heard of her.
We then piled into a RAV4, already chock full of film gels and diffusion that almost hid the baby seat in the back from view, and off it went. After a quick burrito and some pastries, we headed back to campus for our first orientation sessions. We were friends ever since. But that was Helena, a joyful soul who could just as easily strike up a friendship as she could capture a beautiful image. Even while at AFI, Helena stood out as an exceptional artist and cinematographer. She was creative and ambitious, and quickly became well known for her skills and insistent pursuit of excellence. The first time I got to work with her was on her second film on her first year. I was on her camera team. Her love and passion for lighting was evident, and you could tell that she was masterful in her approach even then. I'm pretty sure she used every single light on the grip and lighting truck, but she used them well. It's also the film where I broke a blue streak filter that she had borrowed from one of her classmates as I was rushing to get it to her. As I showed her the filter shards, apologizing profusely because I felt I had ruined her project, I could see she was disappointed, not at me, but at the fact that she would have to rethink her meticulously planned creative approach. A feat she accomplished as she went along with the rest of the day. As I was profusely apologizing yet again, she pulled me into a big hug and said, "Emmy, it's just a filter. They break. Friendships don't break over a filter." Despite the great filter incident of the first year, we went on to collaborate on most projects at AFI and beyond. At first, we crewed for each other on our first year films, our visual essays, and our first feature films. After that, as our careers grew, we leaned on each other for emotional and technical support. She even stepped in front of the camera for a music video I shot and directed, despite her aversion to being on that end of the lens, like most cinematographers. "But only for you, Emmy, and only this once," she quipped. As she stared down my gaffer, sweating on the sidelines with a stare that read, "I know where that light should go, and you better not put it where it should be." I loved being on her sets or just talking with her about what she was going to do, because she was always trying something new, something innovative. She was luminous and endlessly curious. Helena would research how she wanted to accomplish something and make it happen. She had this uncanny ability to balance her career ambitions, her family life, and still lead a thriving social life. I admired and still admire that. I have no idea how she did it. I've always held her in high esteem as a classmate and colleague, but to me, she was first and foremost one of my closest friends in grad school and beyond. We were able to confide and trust in each other as we navigated the challenges of being women in cinematography. That extended to confiding in each other about navigating our personal and professional lives in the film industry at large. One of the beautiful things about our friendship is that we could just as easily wax poetic about the goat cheese salad at the cute brunch spot we had trekked out to over in Venice Beach, or the chromatic aberrations of the lenses we had used on one of our last projects that you really, had given the story some character. But really what I remember her most for was her adventurous and generous spirit. As our lives and careers grew and we got busier, we'd try to meet up for a meal every month or so. It was often lunch, followed by a brisk walk, and usually ending with a coffee and pastry. She had a big sweet tooth. Whenever we would sit down to eat, she'd always look at the dessert menu first. She favored pastries with chocolate, but she liked cookies too. I make decorated sugar cookies for my friends on Christmas, dropping them off the second week of December. Every year without fail, not even an hour after I drop off hers at her house, she'd text me pictures of the empty cookie bag, followed by some of her and her son happily eating them all in one sitting.
Holy God. Were we like how long we do like I get this is her friend and all, but like let's play that Academy Awards music. Play her off, chat.
Sometimes her son would come along with us on our outings, bouncing with energy. Her spirit mirrored in him. Her little man, she would call him. Her husband and her son were her boys, and she often spoke of them lovingly. Helena was proud of being a mom, and often spoke about how the experience changed her life. Sometimes even egging me on to have kids whenever I did find a partner. And motherhood was important to her, but I think people were important to her, and she prioritized them. A lesson I've taken to heart since her passing, and a balance that most of us in the industry struggle to achieve on a daily basis sometimes. Helena was also a social butterfly, the quintessential extrovert that had a knack for somehow going to every single event she was invited to, and being bright and bubbly and charismatic. Most of her friends were introverts, though, myself included. We'd like to joke that she had collected a small gaggle of us along the way and made sure we showed up to these events too. She would call you up whenever to talk to you about going to some event, and one that my own little introverted heart maybe would have not dared gone otherwise. And she would make sure you weren't left alone. She made a point to take care of us and include us. I appreciate that. It was, still is, so hard to come out of my shell, and she made things easier socially. Now, whenever I go to an event and I'm doubting whether I should go, I ask myself, what would Helena do? The answer is usually go. Late in the summer of 2021, I got a call from her. I was prepping for my third feature film that was starting filming in a week away, and I hadn't heard from her much since I knew she had been on a different project in Canada for most of the summer. I'm at LAX, she said happily.
Okay, seriously, play her off, chat. Come on. Okay, great. Play her off. You're not even like I get it this was a family member. But they're not here. Well, the husband got bought off. And got bribed by Alec and the film company. But like this isn't let the family talk. Play her off, chat. Come on. What's that Oscars music? Do we have I gotta find it. I'm gonna find that Oscars music and just like play her off. Like, let's go. Let's go. I mean,
Do you have any suggestions of where I can have good food in Santa Fe? She knew I had family in New Mexico at the time and had spoken lovingly about New Mexican cuisine before. What are you doing in New Mexico? I asked, pouring out a small list of recommendations. I'm shooting a Western. She sounded really excited. It had been a dream for both of us to shoot genre films. It's so hard to land a genre job sometimes, and she has a soft spot for both Westerns and hard sci-fi. I was really excited for her too, and reveled at her good fortune on the phone. It has horses and gunfights, and we're shooting out in the desert. It's a huge stepping stone for me. It's going to be so much fun, she said excitedly, and she felt it. That could be the project that could actually help her career propel forward. Little did we know that it would be the project that killed her. I often think about that moment, her excitement, her joy at embarking at this new adventure. I think about how hard she worked to get there, to get that opportunity. It kills me a little inside. The last time we spoke was the day before Russ started shooting. I called her because a friend of mine gifted me 4 tickets to Disneyland that would expire by the end of the year. And I thought it would be a really nice gesture to invite Helena and her boys to the park for the day. She seemed excited about going to the park. She hadn't been in a while and felt it could be a good break after the shoot. She mentioned pre-production had been a bit hectic and stressful, but nothing that seemed out of the ordinary in the independent film world. I've since begun to question what is and isn't normal, and what should be happening and shouldn't. But I was fresh off my own low-budget feature experience and had a bit of the blues regarding some of my own challenges with that shoot. I confided my doubts in my career with her, my insecurities at the moment. Just another bout of imposter syndrome. She got called to a last-minute meeting. She had to go. Emmy, you're so young.
no, she's not. Helena's not impersonating. She really is dead.
and so talented. I have no doubt that you'll make it in this industry. I believe in you. I believe you're an amazing cinematographer in person. Please remember that.
With all that being said, I truly, you can feel the emotion in this voice. She has lost her friend. She has. She has truly lost her friend, and as much as I'm joking about, she just doesn't know where to begin. How do you describe somebody? She apparently considers her probably one of her closest friends. Where would you begin to describe that person? And I think for her, she's kind of at a loss. So I do feel she, unlike the the agent who's like, yeah, we've lost a great thing. Like, she truly understood how, Hannah was as a person. So I do feel for her. I do feel for her.
That. Gotta go. We'll talk soon. Love you. Those were the last 4 words she ever said to me.
We'll get to that.
I believe in you. Those 4 words will forever echo in my soul. They're a bright light in the darkness of this whole situation. They keep me going when times get tough, and times have been tough. I was working at a news station in Sacramento, California on October 21st, 2021, but I heard the news through the grapevine. One of my mentors called me to tell me something had happened on a set in New Mexico. They wanted to know if I'd spoken to Helena. I'd not. I was able to get in contact with her husband, who confirmed the worst. I confirmed the news to another one of our mentors. I heard his heart break over the phone, too. I sat alone in the darkness of my apartment for hours, sobbing uncontrollably. My wonderful, generous, adventurous friend was gone. Killed on a set because a live bullet that wasn't a prop gun. It dawned on me. Someone didn't do their job right. A lot of someones didn't do their job right.
Not really a lot of someones, just like two someones. Somebody named Hannah, someone named Alec. But I get where she's going, but yes, I honestly, I've been through these before, and when somebody who's not, they're kind of tangentially related, comes up and starts talking, you're just like, just fucking kill me now. You're like I am sure Jason Bull's sitting there like saying, I wish somebody'd shoot me right now.
I'm also director of photography. I trained at the same school, graduated the same year, got the same degree. We belong to the same organizations, went to the same networking events, pursue the art of visual storytelling with the same passion. I've been on sets with guns. I've been on sets where blanks were fired at my camera. I know what an armorer's job is. I know the safety procedures that must be followed. And as more and more details of the case came out, it boggled my mind how many of these procedures had been either blatantly disregarded or not followed at all. Helena's death is the result of a massive system failure, where many links of the chain were loose or faulty, and they all failed her, all of them. But it all boils down to a very simple question. Why was there a live bullet on set? A live bullet should never have made this way onto the set, let alone the gun. Full stop. And that is where Hannah Gutierrez Reed, as the armorer on Rust, failed Helena. It was her job to check the guns, check the bullets, and make sure that the set was safe. Even 2.5 years later, her absence still catches me by surprise. Every time I go to a networking event, I still glance at the door, expecting Helena to walk in, her platinum blonde pixie cut perfectly coiffed, leather cuffs on her wrist, naturally cool with her signature adventurous glint in her eye. At her funeral, I saw the house she never spent a single night in, the one she had bought just before coming to New Mexico. I almost called her after watching Dune Part 2 to see what she thought of it, and remembered that she died before she was even able to watch Part 1. I wanted to tell her about the amazing experience I had on set a month and a half ago, about how much I had gelled with the director and the producer and was proud of the work I'd done. I haven't been able to bring myself to make Christmas cookies in the past 2 years. The thought of not seeing her weighing heavily on me. What's left of the film gels that were in the back of the car that first day we met are now in my living room. The last vestiges of her that I was able to salvage. Her 45th birthday was last week. I went to her grave instead of having dinner and celebrating with her. And while I feel her absence personally, the industry at large feels her loss deeply. I lost one of my best friends, but the industry lost a true visionary. We were robbed of all the images she had the ability to create, all the films she didn't shoot. Her son will grow up without his mother. her family continuing on without her. I know we can never get her back, but what I want is change and justice. I want those that had a hand in her death, either through action or inaction, to face the consequences of those decisions. This includes Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. I asked the court to give her a sentence commensurate and fair to her actions in the role of the death of my dear friend Helena Hutchins. Holding Ms. Gutierrez-Reed accountable will reverberate beyond just the sentencing. It reminds everyone in this industry that actions taken to compromise the safety of our workplace, even if unintentionally, have serious consequences. There are people that leave an indelible mark on your soul, an imprint that can never be erased. And the memory of her wit, her kindness, and her unwavering belief in me are permanently etched into mine. She always had my back, and I promised her that I would always continue to have hers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'd like to switch to the Google Meet speakers. And if I can approach, because I can't see from my computer exactly how we have on.
Just so long.
We're on. The one picture of Rocky.
Yeah, if you just press into Joel,
I still haven't seen Dune yet. I need to watch it. Yes.
Yeah,
And
they
see.
do.
Okay, great. Let's begin with Anek Rabini.
Who? Who's that?
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, great. My name is Anak Rabinal, and I thank the court for this opportunity to speak about the impact of Helena's killing on me. I know I'm supposed to address the court today, but in writing this, it felt more appropriate to address my friend, colleague, creative partner, and playmate, since we never had the chance to say goodbye. Oh woman, where do I even start? I'm having a flashback to helping you write your AFI application. At least then you were there to talk it out and have a little bicker, as was our typical dynamic. Instead, it's just me alone, staring at a blank page, listening to silence. Why don't we start with the hard stuff first? The stuff that's been pinging around in my head for the last couple of years. They say that death comes in threes. Within the space of a month in the fall of 2021, you were the third death of someone who had been fundamental in shaping my adult understanding of myself in the world. As if you need me to come at you with more Hamlet in the afterlife. But it truly was, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. As I processed the reality of the news that had reached me, there were three thoughts that kept coming up. What a terrible, painful, scary way to die. Over and over again, I kept seeing you in my mind's eye suffering needlessly, feeling you fight a battle that you were going to lose. But then I kept thinking, what's going to happen to Andros? And then selfishly, how will we ever resolve our reconciliation? That August, when you remembered my birthday out of the blue, it was like, maybe it's time to heal the 2.5-year rift that had silenced a bond that had, for the majority of its decade-long duration, consisted of communicating almost daily. But then that wasn't possible anymore. You were gone. There were so many wonderful things that would never happen again. Indulging you in story time before bed during a shoot so that you could fall asleep on the phone while I drone on so you could dream of our brain baby. Who knew that was a weirdly us thing? Because you should see the faces of other DPs when I ask them if they need a nighttime tuck-in. There will be no more hanging out in your kitchen, trying not to eat too many squirrels before going on some kind of adventure. Because who knew what the bathroom situation would be whilst you teach me random words in Russian, and I'd watch you make cracked out Turkish coffee with orange peel as pre-game fuel. The two of us always plotting how we would get something epic done with very little money, sorting out our next tag team Thelma and Louise racket. Never again would I be your habitual +1 to some crazy inspirational thing where we'd be in full-on Lucy and Ethel mode, dead set on meeting the celebrity VIP who was in attendance. And usually we did, because really, who could resist our Wonder Twin charms? There will be no more fraught existential conversations about what we were doing with our lives and careers, or any more big dreams, ideas cooked up together to be kicked down the road for when we'd have the resources and enough clout to do them. You and me, none of our ideas ever liked a small budget. Thank goodness we managed 3 times with what we had to push out some of our kids into the world. Almost every day, my Facebook memories feed reminds me of some kind of trouble we were up to and some dream we were manifesting into reality. Daily, it reminds me of the 2 people who are gone, you and the person you inspired and expected me to be. As crazy making as you could be, because let's not gild the lily. Anyone who ever truly got to know you knew how stubborn, determined, and no holds barred you could get when you set your mind to something, and how diplomacy wasn't your way. Yet as crazy making as that could be, you would bring out the best of me. Even if that involved breaking some eggs, so to speak, and you'd bring out the best in every person you engaged with. Recent events have made me come to appreciate how with you, I didn't need a filter or to tone it down or to say it in a nice way. And the gift of being with someone who can accept the light and the dark in you is a rare, rare thing in this world. Even more rare is someone who is courageous enough to show up as authentically as you did. And here's the part that's easy, talking about what I admired in you, your courage and tenacity. I mean, you could spin your wheels in a neurotic frenzy, but when push came to shove, you would dig in, face your fears, and grab hold of your courage and go. The fact that you moved to a foreign country on your own as a young adult to pursue a dream is testament enough to your indomitable spirit, and it didn't stop there. You lived every single moment you had, and you never met a challenge you didn't give your best shot to. I admired your love of beauty and how you sought it out everywhere you looked. Maybe it came from having terrible eyesight when you were a kid, but you looked at the world with wonder and intensity. Your search for different ways of touching and feeling with your eyes, and your inability to settle if something wasn't the way it should be, was one of the commonalities that held us together, and truth be told, the bedrock of trust that got us through the rockier patches, because neither of us would let each other be less than our best. I admired your innocence of being. You approached everything with the ingenuity and insouciance of a child, and that takes guts in a world that continually tries to turn us into jaded, beaten down cynics. This is the short list of things that I loved and still love about you. With you gone, I find myself worrying about Andros. Praying that he will have had enough of you and your vision to treasure the gift that was being born into this life with you as his mother. I still remember the day I visited you, him, and Nat after he was born, thinking, shit, he's one brave bitch doing this motherhood thing. While your death is what one might call meaningless, as in it was wholly unnecessary and preventable, I pray that it will echo through time.
Player, I get she's sad and emotional, but play her off too. Let's go, Chad. Play the acceptance music from the Oscars. She would understand.
To ensure that its circumstances will not be repeated anywhere else and with anyone else. I pray that it will serve as a rallying point for the systemic change needed in an industry that sees the human beings who put their lives in service of it as dispensable cogs in a machine to serve bottom lines and shareholder expectations.
I got news for you. That ain't gonna change. It's Hollywood, baby. You ain't changing that part. That part's not gonna change.
You always fought the good fight, and your death will count for something more than the sadness and regret that it's left in its wake. Every one of us whose lives you touched owe you that. When I started writing this, I went to look back for that very first picture of the two of us together, so that I could have something with you, something of you with me today. December 25th, 2011. It's funny to think in hindsight that we were the universe's Christmas present to each other. Our friends who introduced us were happy that we were both getting our starts in film and hoped it would be a good connection. Who knew that that Christmas would lead here? If only it had led to what we both dreamt together. Being fabulous older ladies at some glamorous parties after being awarded some big accolades and driving everyone around us crazy because we'd still be bickering and nitpicking on how we could have made the film better. I miss you, my friend. I'm sorry we won't be able to say the things that needed to be said, the apologies that needed to be exchanged. It's painful to know that we won't grow old together. All I can do now is promise you that I'll do my best to live up to being the person and artist you knew and wanted me to be, and to do my utmost to uphold your legacy. And now I thank the court for permitting me this time to share the impact of Helena's death on me, and to ask it to do what it should to bring justice to this situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Olia Oparina?
Thank you, Your Honor. Helena and I immigrated to the US around the same time, bonding over our shared passion for film. From the moment we've met, she became more than a friend. She was my sister in every sense of the word. Helena was always there, celebrating our victories and offering unwavering support during our toughest moments as immigrants and young filmmakers. As a mother, a talented cinematographer, and a successful woman, Helena juggled numerous responsibilities, yet she always made time for her friends. Our daily hikes were not just about exercise, they were moments of solace and connection, where Helena's words of encouragement lifted my spirits without fail. Together as female filmmakers, we confronted the obstacles of our industry, finding strengths in each other's company. Helena poured her heart into every project, infusing it with generosity and kindness that left a lasting impact on everyone she worked with. Her presence on set was a beacon of light, spreading joy wherever she went. She often overlooked her own needs, prioritizing others above herself. When Helena passed away, I was consumed by grief, feeling the loss of not only my closest friend, but also my greatest source of inspiration. She represented hope for a brighter future in the film industry, where creativity and kindness could thrive. Losing her meant losing a part of myself and a cherished creative collaborator. Though she may no longer be with us, Helena's legacy lives on in the hearts of all who knew her. We are committed to honoring her memory by continuing to champion the values she held dear, ensuring that her impact on the world will never be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Metz?
Who are these people?
Okay.
And Jen White.
Okay, Jen White.
Okay.
It feels impossible to put into words the devastation that I've felt and will forever feel from the loss of my friend Helena Hutchins, because mere words could never hold all of who she was or what she meant to me. It is absolutely indescribable, but I will try anyway. 2.5 years have passed and I still look for her. I still expect to see her. I still wonder what adventure she's on and think about checking in. Then my heart drops through my feet. And I have to face the reality that I will never see her or hug her or hear her laugh ever again. I will never get to feel that glow that she bathed everyone around her in. and I will never get to be there to celebrate what would have undoubtedly been many, many. Helena was a force. She was complicated and talented and beautiful and caring and kind and
This guy
funny.
walking around. There's like another. What? Who are these people? Like like I said, I understand the idea that Helena was a promising filmmaker, that she probably had the right stuff, and that she, was probably going to be somebody good. Maybe not the greatest, but she would have been a really good person in the film industry. She was a great artist. I get that, but who are these people?
Committed and charming and weird and fearless. She was all of my favorite adjectives. She inspired me.
Like, seriously.
And I don't think she knew that because I never.
Below? Who is this guy wandering down below in the Zoom call? Who is this? Who is this? That'd be funny if it's like some guy naked or like imagine a Dark Side Phil. Some guy laying there doing a Dark Side Phil, just like whacking it like at the little screen on camera. Like, what the fuck is going on? One of the people, hold on. One of the people said that you knew her for 11 years in the film industry. That's true. And that's fine. I don't doubt these people have true feelings, but this idea of being a victim, I mean, God, it seems like there's going to be some guy like, I was in craft services at a movie once and Helena said, I was nice. It's like, how many people can be a victim here? This is getting a bit much. This is getting a bit, this is fake as, no. I don't doubt for a second, each one of the people so far has truly felt some level of loss and sorrow. These women that have been up far, the 3 women so far, I guarantee you they truly feel the way they feel. They're devastated. They lost one of their friends. It's somebody they've considered as a friend forever. Just like Mark Antony said during, usually, like he was my friend, faithful and just to me. I don't doubt any of that for them, but yeah, this is a bit much to me. It's a bit much. No, it sucks. The defense attorney, you can't be like, Your Honor, can we get this shit on the road? Like, come on now. We're going to have everybody in Hollywood. So, no, I truly think these people are serious, but there's got to be a limit to who's a victim.
I forgot to tell her. She was one of my favorite people in the world. I feel like she has gotten lost in the swarm of all of the finger pointing and blame in the aftermath of this completely preventable tragedy. The only way I have left to honor her is to do everything I can to make sure this never happens again and to try to make sure that the people responsible are held accountable. I've struggled to deal with this repeatedly being called an accident because it was not an accident. It was negligence and nothing else. Every single day, there is gunplay on film sets carried out safely by qualified armorers. There are countless checks and balances to ensure safety for the cast and crew, and it seems every single one of them was ignored on this production. There were multiple failures by multiple people, that is certain, and the actions of Hannah Gutierrez-Reed were the catalyst for Helena's death. By bringing live ammunition to set, Ms. Gutierrez-Reed set off a chain of events that could only lead to someone being killed, which was ensured by her not properly checking the rounds, by her leaving guns and ammunition unattended, by allowing the assistant director to take the gun from her, and by allowing Helena to be in the path of that bullet in the first place. Multiple breaches in protocol committed by the defendant made this inevitable, and it was only a matter of time. There's one absolute truth here. If Ms. Gutierrez-Reed had properly done her job, Helena would still be alive, and Andros would still have his mother. Your Honor, I beg you to impose the maximum sentence. It will not be and could never be enough of a punishment for the willful negligence committed by the defendant. But she needs to be held accountable for taking Helena's life and for destroying so many others. It doesn't seem to me or anyone that I've spoken to that Ms. Gutierrez-Reed has ever demonstrated even the slightest bit of remorse for her actions. And instead,
I am curious though, and I don't mean it's a joke. I really am curious. What does she think is a proper sentence? That's actually something I'm kind of curious about. What does she think is the proper sentence? Because that's something I'm kind of curious about. What does she think is proper? Like, it's not enough time. Well, how much time? Because when I was in the prosecutor's office before, I'm like, you'd speak to the victims on crime, say, like, look, here's where we are, here are the charges, and I tell them, here's the maximum penalty. And there more than one time when the person's like, well, I want them to get that. I said, they're not going to get that. I said, like, they stole your car. They're not going to get 18. They're not going to prison for 18 months. Well, I want them to go to prison for 18 months. I said, I understand that. And they're like, well, I want you to ask for that. I'm like, no, I'm not asking for that. That's insane. This guy is like 25 years old and he has no record. Like, we're not asking for 18 months of prison. I'm curious to know how long she thinks is appropriate, though.
is to throw blame at everyone but herself.
Well,
If
that's
prison
true.
time is the only way she will face any responsibility for what she has done, it should be for as long as the law allows. Because the ripples of her negligence will never stop
Please, no
being felt by
spoilers.
those of us who knew and
I
loved.
didn't watch it yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joel Souza.
The other person was on, that Metz, Stephen Metz.
Oh, okay. Then let's go ahead and do Mr. Metz instead of Mr. Souza. We'll hear from Mr. Souza last.
Who's Steve Metz?
Hello, I'm Stephen Metz. And I did prepare a statement, so I'm just going to read the statement off and then maybe have a little bit. The death of Helena Hutchins is happening.
I wrote a statement, then I'm going to freeze. I'm just going to riff a little bit, Judge. We're going to just, we're going to do a little scat there.
A profound impact on me and my family. I was a very close friend of Helena and her family for many years. Our sons have been best friends since they were 4 years old. And Helena's husband, Matt, was one of my best friends. Helena and I would talk a lot about extreme sports. We spent time biking, riding, rock climbing with our kids when she was not out of town working, which was quite a bit. Matt and I would hang out and let our kids play. They played together all the time. During the pandemic, it was really nice because Helena was not working for a good part of it. And we were able to spend a lot of time together. If you remember, during the pandemic, there were kind of these certain families that you could, we called them a pod. So you could, we kind of hung out with like just a very select and few families, and the Hutchins family was one of them. So we would hang out in person. We didn't wear masks because they were considered, our really close friends. As far as the impact that I have seen so far, Matt was devastated when he lost the love of his life. I know how much he loved Helena. They were married for over 16 years, and they were a wonderful couple. The loss was devastating to everyone who knew them, because it turns out, after everything is said and done, we've not only lost Helena, but we've also lost Matt. And basically, Matt has been affected, trapped horribly by this, and he moved away. So basically, Matt died when Helena died, as far as we're concerned. Meaning he moved away. He was somebody that I hung out with more than once or twice a week on average. And so in Helena's passing and in the negligence that I believe occurred on that set, he didn't only kill or affect Helena, which I know it goes without saying, but it still should be said. You affected many other families and people around Helena. So anyway, the loss of Helena has had a ripple effect on our whole community. She was a talented cinematographer, and she was loved by everyone who knew her. Her death is a reminder of the fragility of life, and it has left us shaken and sad. That's an understatement. There's really there's no excuse. I mean, you have a professional on the set. Now, I don't know all the protocol for film. That's not my field, but I do know that you have to take gun safety you have to be handled with extreme caution in every way. And I really feel that this was due to negligence. So being that there are thousands and thousands of films being made all over the world, this needs to set a precedence. This case needs to set a precedence for all of the other, for all the other actors whose lives and cinematographers and everyone on the set really, whose lives are at risk with when we have negligence in the hands of an armor or supposed.
Da 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 da! Congratulations, you've won your Oscar. Now get off the stage. Like, I get it. Your kids were friends. Go home. Done. Move along.
Armor. So anyway, it was a horrible experience for not just us and family, but also for our family. My son basically lost his really good friend. I honestly don't even know if they really talk very much.
Now notice that's how they're like, the kids moved away, so it's like they died. It's like, fuck. This is the part of, see how, guys, it's the problem with victims. Oh, my son's a victim too because he lost his best friend. Oh! I mean, the wine moms, I'm sure the wine moms were just juicing their tampons over this. And the kid lost his best friend. Woo! It's like, see, everybody's a victim now. Everybody's a victim now. Our dog Skippy really liked Helena's son. He's been so sad he's not around anymore. There's so many victims. He's so sad. And Skippy last week got hit by a car. We think he ran out in front of the car because he was looking for Helena's son. And when he realized he wasn't coming back, he just couldn't bear it. Oh, no. Oh! That's where I feel like we are now. That's the part of this. That's the reason why I hate this shit. I am really trying not. I'm not banging on Helena, but the people they brought in to talk, holy fuck. Holy fuck.
Anymore. They used to talk almost every day and play video games together. And it was a tragedy. So very, very sad. And that's the end of my statement.
Thank you.
Joel Souza.
Quick. Oh, this is I do want to hear this one. Wait, are they in the same house? Are they in the same house? Are they in the same house?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. The way guy got up, it looked like there was another hand getting on camera. I'm like, oh wow, they're broing out at the same house. This is actually gonna be very good. And I'm very curious to hear what he has to say because this will set the tone for Alec Baldwin's trial. What this guy says right here, I think is going to determine whether or not Alec Baldwin takes a plea. And I have not heard this yet. So let's listen in.
I would like to thank the court as well as Ms. Morrissey and her team for allowing me to speak today. I've struggled with what to say here today because what I want is simply not possible. I want that none of this ever happened, that everyone's okay and that lives weren't destroyed. And that, worst of all, Helena's life wasn't lost. I would not presume to speak for Helena, nor for her husband or her son, for her parents or her sister, but I would like to say something on their behalf, if I might. Helena's parents lost their daughter. Her sister lost a sibling and confidant. Matt lost his wife, the other half of himself. And Helena's son lost not only his mother, but everything she had to offer him for the rest of her life. Every kind word, every loving gesture, every support, every influence, every life's lesson, the course of his life has been irrevocably altered. And the world lost not only a person that was a gifted artist, but a truly kind and compassionate person, which often seem to be in short supply these days. As for myself, the last 2.5 years are difficult to put into words. What it's done to me and the burdens it's placed on me, both emotionally and physically, are my private burdens, and I think I'll choose to keep them that way today. What I will say is that one moment the world made sense, and the next moment it didn't, and it still doesn't, and I don't know if it ever will again. So again, what I really want, I can't have. I want everyone damaged by Miss Reed's failures that day to find peace. I want this whole thing not to have been consumed by the world as some sick form of mass entertainment. I want to still believe in the better angels of our nature. I want the pain to go away. I want to be who I was before this happened, and above all, I want Helena to be back home with her husband and son in the house she never got to live in. Helena not only had an incredible talent for her art, but she had a talent for life. She was a touchstone for all who knew her, and those of us who were lucky enough to have shared in her fleeting time on this planet are better for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a brief written statement by one of.
You know, that was actually pretty good. I give respect to Joel Souza. I mean, the guy got shot as a result of all this. I'm sure Carrie Morrissey told him, chill out in this thing because we're going to need you as a witness in the next trial. But of like everybody else, that really, that felt the most genuine of all. He actually, I didn't know her 25 years ago. Like, I knew her the moment she died. I was right there with her when she died. Him and her had, like, they were both laying there on the floor bleeding out. Like, you can feel it in his voice. You can hear it in his words. And I will say, if I'm Alec Baldwin, I'm shitting a brick right now. Because he didn't go on a harp on about who's responsible. That's very much sounds like he's like, you know who you are. But that was actually very impressive. It's a very impressive statement for somebody that had so much happened to him. Yeah, it was the same bullet. Yep. So that, I mean, the way you start that off, there's nothing I just want it all to go away. I want to take it all back. I want to go back in time. That was actually, like I said, you actually feel for this guy. You feel for him. You feel for what happened to him. True Psych Word says, I'm not crying, you are. I'm not crying, but you can feel the pain in his soul. You could feel the pain. You could feel it. You can hear it. So, Nico says, one bullet. What was this, a magic bullet? Well, at a close enough range, that bullet's got enough horsepower to get through multiple things. So of all those people, I think that was the most sincere thing I've heard. And like I said, Alec Baldwin, homie, this ain't looking good, man. Your attorney might want to see what kind of offer is available. Although the offer's not going to be good, but you might want to check.
Helena's friends, Anya Bay, and that will be read by Alexander James.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anya Bay. I'm a filmmaker and a very close friend of Helena Hutchins. I want to apologize for not being able to attend in person because of my last-minute trip overseas. But I'm very grateful for...
Now, this isn't uncommon. Even if she wasn't overseas, there are times where the victim doesn't want to be there, or the person who has a statement to give doesn't want to be in court. Like, they can't handle it emotionally. They don't want to be in the same room as the defendant. And a victim's advocate will read the statement. I've had to read them before. you know, you read them beforehand because obviously you just, and when I've had to do it, I read them beforehand to make sure I know what's there and read them outright. Sometimes you can tell these people are very, sometimes they're handwritten and you can see the emotion in what they've written. Other times it's typed and you're reading and you're wondering, what are they feeling? What are they thinking as they put those words on paper? So there's a bit of that's a bit of an insight to like when you read these statements. Sometimes you feel it and you see that emotion. Other times it seems very cold and clean.
The state for reading my statement. I've known Helena since 2014 when I first moved to LA. It was impossible not to connect and fall in love with her instantly, as she was that bright beam of light, creativity, and energy that could easily ignite the room, if not the entire city. Her passion for cinema was infectious. Her ability to enjoy life and love people around was evident. I felt very privileged to have her by my side, encouraging all of my endeavors. As my family lives far away, Helena became one of a few people that formed my family circle in Los Angeles. We traveled and celebrated holidays together. We supported each other through thick and thin, and of course, we created beautiful films together. We were working side by side, Helena as a director of photography, and I was a writer/producer. We collaborated on multiple amazing projects, including our very first feature film, which was almost impossible to make. But not for Helena. She didn't believe in impossible. She was a fearless leader with a unique creative vision and deep appreciation for her crew. And I know that hundreds of people can back me up on that. She was a true inspiration. We had many more plans to realize and dreams to fulfill together, and it still doesn't sit with me that it's never going to happen. Helena was a very loving mother and wife, daughter and sister, friend and cinematographer. She was a cinematographer with the capital C, perhaps the most dedicated filmmaker I know, who would always go an extra mile, if not 100 miles, only to take the best shot regardless of how hard it was. Just when finally, after all these years of hard work, she started to get recognized in Hollywood, which we all know could be very cruel and heartbreaking. This horrible turn of events during the production of Rust should have never happened. Set safety should never be overlooked, or, as in this case, completely and utterly disregarded, especially when it comes to weapons. I want to end with this. The tragic death of the incredible Helena Hutchins is not just a huge loss for her family, friends, and people that knew and loved her so much. It's a loss for the entire film community. She deserved better. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Gloria Allred will address the court on behalf of Helena's mother, father, and sister.
What? Oh, I forgot. Oh, wait. Her family did not take a deal. Her family's suing Russ, which is going to have no money. But Helena's husband took the deal. Oh, they weren't happy with a couple of whole coins or a couple of rubles for Helena. They want some real money, and it's like, guy's gonna get a couple of rubles. That's it. That's it. Oh well. Gloria represents Helena's mom and dad and sister. They're all back in the old country, getting bombed by the Russians. They might actually be dead by now. Who knows? Leslie wanted a bigger cup. They didn't like the offer of getting an extra cart of potatoes. They're like, what can you offer? We shall give you a cart of potatoes or a taker truck full of board. And they're like, no, not enough. We want a taker truck full of vodka. And they're like, can't do. Gloria looks great for 82. Yes, she does. Yes. Yeah, they wanted more Patriot missiles. That's what they wanted.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Gloria Allred, Rockland, Goldberg, and also on behalf of my co-counsel, John Carpenter and Zuckerman, I would like to read a statement by Helena's mother, and then we have a video of her mother, whose name is Olga Solovey, and she will be speaking in Ukrainian, Russian, but we have English subtitles for Olga's statement. After that, I would like to read a very brief statement by the sister of Helena, Svetlana Zemko, who will also speak in Ukrainian, Russian, but we have English subtitles for her video. And finally, I would appreciate the indulgence of the court to read a short statement of Helena's father. We have no video for him due to his health. His name is Anatoly Androsevich. And then I will conclude. I have some photos as well of the parents and sister with Helena. So thank you very much for your courtesy in this matter. This is a statement of Olga Solovey, Helena Hutchins' mother. Good afternoon. My name is Olga, and I am the mother of Helena. It is extremely difficult for me to speak about this. Helena was the best daughter on this earth. I remember how she graduated with the most excellent marks from 2 universities here in Ukraine. Even so, she left for the USA to study and pursue her dreams. She had a beautiful family, her son Andros. She loved him madly and endlessly. All of her friends absolutely adored her. After this tragedy, my life has been split into 2, before and after. Time does not heal. It simply prolongs my pain and suffering. I have hope that the guilty, those that are responsible for the death of my daughter, will be punished fairly and sentenced justly. Justice must prevail. And I would like to say also that Olga and Svetlana made these videos despite the fact that where they live in Ukraine, in Kyiv, they are being bombed every single day. This is the video of Olga.
You gotta love they throw in the salami ukulele thing there. Yes, the poor Ukrainians are being bombed. It's like, what's that got to do with this? That's okay. Of the things Hannah did, Hannah is not the reason why Kharkov is getting glassed right now. Like, that's not her fault. Also, they seem to be doing pretty good. It's not like they're sitting in Bakhmut right now. Like, look at this. They seem to be getting by.
Хатчинськ, мене звуть Ольга. Сьогодні я хотіла б вам розказати про свою доньку, яка була дуже талановита, гарна, дуже гарно вчилась, дуже добре до нас ставилась. Я пам'ятаю той день, коли її не стало. Мені дуже тяжко. Дуже тяжко без неї. Я не можу. Так. В університеті, потім вона родила гарного хлопчика, мого внука, з яким я зараз не маю можливості бачити. Вона була дуже гарною матір'ю, але більше всього вона працювати любила. Перевернула все моє життя. Дуже тяжко дивитися, як дитина росте без матері. Я хотіла б ще сказати, що вона вчилася в школі дуже гарно, невідмінно. Вже закінчила всі вузи, в яких вона навчалася. Я від усіх чула тільки гарні слова. І сьогодні мені не проходить ця біль втрати. Ходила до них кожен рік. Я бачила, як Андрос підростає, як він на неї дуже схожий. Оля дуже нас всіх любила. Вона завжди говорила: мама, я хочу, щоб ви жили краще. Весь час вона мене прилишала до себе. Вона хотіла, щоб я була поруч. А от оскільки ще Світлана була не зовсім дорослою, я не могла поїхати. Я їй обіцяла, що коли Свята буде замужем, коли в неї буде чоловік, я приїду обов'язково. Але я не встигла. У Галі дуже було багато друзів, які завжди приходили до нас, з якими вона старалась підтримувати контакти. Вона всім дзвонила. Ми з нею созванювались кожну неділю. У нас був день, це субота або неділя, ми завжди спілкувались годинами. Кращого друга, ніж Галя, в мене не було. Могла поділитися зі мною усім. У неї дуже гарна сім'я була. Але цей день перевернув все життя. Мені дуже важко без неї. Я весь час чекаю, коли я з нею зустрінусь. Але я дала собі слово, що я обов'язково побачу, коли виросте, коли він буде навчатися, коли він жениться, коли в нього буде своя сім'я. І я повинна триматися. Ой, я не можу. Коли Галя загинула, було 3 години ночі у нас. Я не могла заснути, я до 3 ночі не спала, мені було дуже тривожно. А в 3 часа я побачила, що дзвонить мед. Я дуже перелякалась, значить, щось случилось. Бо вночі він ніколи мені не дзвонив. І він не міг довго сказати, що сталося. Він тільки сказав: мама, у нас біда. І хвилин 5 він не міг сказати. Я кажу: да говори вже, що сталося? Каже: Галі немає. Після того я не пам'ятаю нічого. Я була одна вдома. Я кричала. Я йому ще говорю, може ще не ясно, може ще все буде добре. Але він мені сказав, вже її немає.
Yeah, she seems like she probably wouldn't be too bad of a
Дуже
mother-in-law.
важко втрачати дітей. Це словами не передати. І час не допомагає. Пройшло 2,5 роки. А мені стає ще гірше. Якщо перший рік я ще думала, ждала, що вона приїде. А цей рік я себе настраювала, пробувала змиритися з тим, що сталося. Але, напевно, я слабка. Хоча Галя казала, що де мама сильна. Ну, в мене не виходить. Я хочу сказати, що мені легше не стане від того, що когось засудять. На скільки років, це не має значення. Але я хочу, щоб була справедливість, що хтось винуватий, хай понесе покарання за свій злочин. Мені дуже хотілося, щоб до мене хтось підійшов, мені поспівчував, вибачився, подивився просто в очі, мені хотілося подивитися тим людям. Може, мені було б легше. Але ніхто не підійшов. Я була на похоронах, я їздила в минулому році, в жовтні місяці, але я, крім Галіних друзів, нікого не бачила. І боляче. Люди, які винуваті, вони навіть не підійшли до матері. Я не можу зрозуміти. Всі люди, які причепні до смерті Галі, ніхто до мене не підходив, ніхто не вибачався, ніхто не співчував. Вона дуже багато працювала. На її весь час був розписаний. Але більше всього в житті вона любила свого сина. Я не знаю, у них настільки були відносини, розумієте? Вона просто не могла.
The fact that Hannah's not crying at this point is a little surprising. Because I believe every word this woman has said so far. The editing part, okay, that's Gloria Allred's people, but yeah, I feel bad for this lady. I truly do.
Дихаться їм. Вона дзвонила йому кожен день, вона розказувала йому казки, вона все йому розповідала про роботу, говорила на добраніч, і він відпочивав. Це було кожен день. Не було такого дня, щоб вона не дзвонила йому, коли була відряджена. Завжди посміхалась, була весела, щаслива така. І дуже тішилась тим, що в неї все виходить, що в неї все складається так, як вона хотіла. Я думаю, що вона була щаслива. В сімейних відносинах в них все було добре. Вона ще дуже хотіла дівчинку. Перший місяць я була там цілий місяць. Коли ми приїхали, я попросила, вони могли кремірувати її Нью-Мехіко, але я хотіла попрощатися. Привезла в Лос-Анджелес. Ми попрощалися, а прах ми забирали через 2 неділі. І тоді похоронили її на кладбище Голлівуд навсегда називається. В центрі міста. Дуже в красивому місці, там, де проходять
Yeah, I saw that jump here. Hold on, we gotta go back to it a little bit.
в центрі міста. Дуже в красивому місці,
Wait,
там,
I didn't
де
go back far enough.
проходять.
Hold on. Hold on.
Ми попрощалися, а прах ми забирали через 2 неділі. І тоді похоронили її на кладбище Голлівуд навсегда називається. В центрі міста. Дуже в красивому місці, там, де проходять фільми всі нові, різні. Там велика сцена, там збирається дуже багато людей, і там показують нові фільми, які виходять. І вона рядом з сценою похована. Канал красивий, там лебеді плавають. Дуже місце гарне.
Wait, what? Okay, I would object right now if I'm Bowles. I would object. This is production. They put post-production in this. There's post now. What, are we gonna turn this into fucking Dr. Zhivago? I seriously would object. This is nonsense now. Not the lady, but for Gloria, she should be. The judge should reprimand her for this. This is not what should happen. Fiend. Oh, she's back. Oh, I thought there was going to be that's the intermission, part 2.
I'd just like to add, Your Honor, that Olga is one of the most courageous women I have ever met, in addition to living in the war zone and suffering the tragedy of her daughter. She is a nurse who cares for
that is the more revealing thing. You would think Gloria Allred and the people who put this together would be far more tasteful. Nobody stopped to think and say, okay, having that B-roll footage of her looking through the photos, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But putting that piano music over that, nobody sat there. Even the guy who did, it's I'm not sure this is probably the best thing for you guys really want me to do this. And then he probably said, wait. And he looks up at her do you really want me to do this? And then he said, wait, you're going to pay me $30,000? Okay. Click. It's in. That was just... It shows Gloria Allred has no shame either. This is just... Ooh, that was bad. But her emotions were, you feel bad for her. I told you she had a production team held hostage. It's the sad music from the Hulk, yeah. Or it's that sad music from Bluey. I saw that thing recently. Cut to Gloria playing the piano. Yes. That was truly Paul's clash. Yeah, everybody stands up and claps. Except Hannah, she can't because she's cuffed, so she's like, ah! Oh. Baldwin is screwed. I think so. Yeah, this is. Bulls is going to use the piano ending. Bulls gets up with a guitar and he starts just laying down the riff from Layla. Now. And then Detective Fishlips comes out and starts doing her thing. I'm in the middle of a war and I find out my daughter is dead. Oh no. Yes. They need a movie. Well, to be fair, she died before the invasion started. They need a movie trailer, yes. In a world. Now, making fun of Gloria Allred, not Helena's mom. She had no idea.
Those who have been wounded in the war. Next is Svetlana Zemko.
That'd be great if I was the judge. I'd be like, don't care. I hope Russia classes all of that place. Attorney Allred. Like, who cares? Salami Ukraine! Why are we going to talk about that right now? Why?
Helena's sister. And Svetlana says this. As I gathered my thoughts to write this statement, I wanted to start by emphasizing an important memory. When my mother and I were building our homes in Kyiv, one of the most fundamental things we were dreaming of was how our entire family would gather together comfortably at this home with Helena. As it stands now, that will never happen again. I very much wanted for Helena to meet my children and my husband. Helena will never meet my baby boy who was born after her death. Her death has shattered my heart. She was not simply my sister. She was my friend, and in a certain sense, my second mother. The video of Svetlana.
Я молодша сестра, вона старша на 7 років. То вона мені була в якомусь сенсі матусею навіть, бо приймала участь у моєму вихованні. У нас було дуже багато і таких теплих, смішних історій. І коли я була зовсім маленька, то у нас був такий, не знаю, як це сказати, змагання, хто кого передражнить. Але згодом, коли ми стали дорослішими, то у нас ці стосунки із виховання з її боку перетекли більш такі дружні. І ці межі вікові, вони стерилися. І ми почали там тусуватися разом, десь їздити на шопінг, знайомитися, проводити час по-інакшому. Як я тоді так кайфувала, думала, вау, я така доросла. Вона мене брала десь із собою, ми цікаво проводили час. Навіть просто поїхати на прогулянку, вона мені давала свій одяг, у неї був завжди дуже модний одяг, вона мала гарний смак, і для мене було це так тепло, що вона зі мною ділилася. І може цю якість в мені таку не жмота, можна так виразитися, це може і від неї трохи пішло, бо вона така ніколи не прижимала навіть шоколад, коли у нас був, вона ділила все порівно. Вона не брала собі ніколи більше. Це як по-братськи, по-братимськи, чи як кажуть. Я всім ходила, потякала, кажу, моя сестра в мене найкрутіша. Я ще жартувала, кажу, що у нас я такий ледащо, а сестра працює за двох із нас. Вона дуже багато працювала, щоб дістатися своєї мети. Дуже багато. Моя сестра була крута. Це був мій друг. Це було моє натхнення в якомусь сенсі, бо коли мені ставало якось зле, я завжди думала, ось у тебе сестра така крута. Їй завжди було пофіг на усі проблеми, вона йшла вперед завжди. Тобто ця цілеспрямованість, вона завжди так надихала. І мені здається, не тільки мене, бо вона така взагалі була світла людина. І я навіть не можу сказати жодної поганої або мінусової характеристики дати їй, ніяк. Чесно, не тому, що вона моя сестра, а просто вона така людина. Вона була дуже крута. Сестра в мене так була для мене прикладом. Багато в чому, до речі. Вона мені багато чого пояснювала, і у плані виховання мені здається, що вона навіть більше мені дала, аніж мама. Мені дуже важко про це казати, бо це була моя така велика мрія, щоб ми збиралися з дітками усією нашою родиною і святкували Різдво, або там хоча б, я не кажу дуже часто, раз-два рази на рік. То була така моя мрія, щоб дітки разом гралися, щоб вогонь горів, і всі так за столом, і ми разом, і щоб це було так тепло. Я розумію, що цього вже ніколи не буде. Не можу. Мені треба, я не знаю, втекти. Фух. Короче, как-то я не хотела реветь. Просто одно дело, когда ты говоришь, какая она классная, другое дело, когда ты понимаешь, и все. Я взагалі намагалася триматися якомога міцніше, коли це трапилося, бо я розуміла, що якщо я ще буду плакати, то мама взагалі здуріє. Я просто бажаю, щоб ця ситуація не лишалася просто так у повітрі, як випадок, бо люди мають нести відповідальність за свої вчинки. І кожен, хто винен, я вважаю, що винна не тільки одна людина тут, бо ми там не були, звісно, але як будуть докази, як по цій справі, то кожного, кого вдасться притягти до відповідальності, мають нести цю відповідальність. Бо це не тільки життя однієї людини, це ще здоров'я всієї родини і ментальне здоров'я мого племінника.
And this is the statement of Anatoly Androsovich, father of Helena Hutchins. The demise of my daughter Helena on the 21st of October 2021 became the tragedy and biggest bitter loss of my life, as well as the lives of my close loved ones. There is no way I can put into words to express the soul-crushing pain and suffering that I live through every day. The constant state of stress, the turmoil of my soul, have drained my physical strength and caused an abrupt decline of my health with continued physical pain in my heart. Every day I remember Helena. I remember the moments of our lives. Since she was a child, my Helena was a very curious and adventurous, hardworking, friendly, and caring person. At 11 years old, Helena convinced me to show her the nuclear submarine. We walked through each part of the nuclear submarine. As she grew up, it was her dream to make a documentary film about nuclear submarines, with an emphasis on the threat of nuclear weapons for humanity. My Helena had a devoted and loving husband, Matthew, a wonderful son, Andros, and a profession she loved. in the most developed and democratic country, the USA. I could not have ever fathomed that her life would be endangered while she was at work. As a former Marine officer, I fully understand the responsible and correct way to handle firearms. I am confidently stating that the death of my daughter was caused by systematic, gross violations of safety rules and regulations during filming of the movie Rust. I do not wish for revenge, but believe that each person responsible for the death of my Helena needs to carry the punishment that is equal to their guilt. Maybe, just maybe, this might prevent the same type of tragedies in the future to others and spare other parents from such a heart-wrenching catastrophe. And now I would like to show the court very quickly just some photos. This, Your Honor, is a photo of Olga and Helena and Andros.
Are you going to bring it up to me, or did you want to put it on the?
It's up to you.
Oh, can you? Can you show it?
Elmo.
Thank you. Can you? Thank you. Thank you. The next photo is a photo of Svetlana and Helena.
Yes, isn't that the photograph of a nuclear submarine? Yes, a boomer.
On the last photo, Your Honor, is Anatoly and his grandson, Andros.
Gloria Allred, she's an attorney that's been around forever in America. You need to Google her. You need to Google her. She's rather famous. Like, she's got involvement in OJ, Bill Clinton's Monica Lewinsky thing. Like, she's been all over the place. She's a famous women's rights activist and attorney and a feminist. Hella, there's just so much I could say there. No, it looks like Hannah's like, I wouldn't necessarily expect her to cry here, but she's like smiling. She's like, well, she had a fit. Like, I think Hannah's realizing the person who died, like the family, the truly all the things that she's missed, and what has been taken here.
Thank you. And as was mentioned, this week, April 9th, would have been Helena's 45th birthday. In honor of her birthday, our law firms have placed flowers on her grave at Hollywood Forever. May she rest in peace. Thank you.
Oh, Gloria Allred's 100% a grifter. She's a grifter. She's 100% a fucking grifter. Gloria Allred didn't be Gloria Allred to make.
We just have a brief
Gloria
slideshow.
Allred is a clout chaser. 100% she's a clout chaser.
That will conclude the state's presentation.
Ooh, what are we playing now? Ooh, what are we playing now? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, I don't know what's coming next, chat, but when the prosecutor wants to do an audio-visual segment, that's never good at sentencing. Uh-oh. 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 Uh-oh.
It did.
Wait a minute. Come here. Why won't this go into...
Why does she look like she stepped out on the 90s? Because she is. Behind my dad fired someone from his company once. Shared Gloria Allred. His attorneys advised him to settle 100%. Gloria Allred's a shark. Do. Lawsuit shark. Do. Lawsuit shark. Do. She's Grifter shark. Grifter shark. Do.
Okay, we're gonna have to do this a different way. Why don't we...
There you go, Hella.
Let me see what the best way is to handle this and put that. May I approach?
All right, oh no. Audio-visual problems. It's because that's all Windows-based and she wants to use a Mac. She wants to be different, chat. Remember, Apple says think differently. And then cause problems for everyone else.
I think that will work. How about we put it right here so you can see it? And I think that will work for that camera. And don't forget when you get your cue. Okay?
Yeah.
Space bar. We'll start the music. Let's mic it. And then arrow key will take you from slide to slide. Okay?
You guys are right. The AV should be the same from the trial, so why don't we have it? They did it last time and it worked, but it's like they forgot all the trial settings. Oh, is this like a slideshow?
Let's see how we've got.
Oh, it's gonna be.
You good? Yep.
Oh no, it's gonna be music and themed. No, they aren't supposed to be doing this. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to mute it for copyright. Oh. This is obnoxious. I mean, it looks like she enjoyed herself. And she is lucky. She has a pretty cool story. She got out of Eastern Europe, which at the time she did it probably wasn't that small of a feat. And, you know, she did it without getting a green card and being a mail order bride. She came over and, yeah, doing her film thing. Totally looks like she enjoyed it, all of it. Don't know what she's doing there, but she's setting up her angles. It's just we can't hear it. We're just going to skip ahead. Looks like she's in. Well, besides the filmmaker, she was out rock climbing and whatever she's doing, hiking, enjoying her life. Yeah. Well, since we can't hear. Hello, you're joining us. Hello.
I am. Oh, I'm up here.
Yeah, hi. What is this? This is just more emotional baggage. I don't know what this is. This is just.
This is a goddamn funeral.
Yeah, this is something you play at the funeral of the wake.
No one told these people.
Is it
this
over?
Is not a funeral, it's a sentencing.
Yeah, hold on. Is it over? No.
No.
But the judge, even the judge is kind of like, she's kind of like, oh my fucking God.
Look at her.
Yeah. She's looking at Hannah a lot. Now, here's the thing. Like, during the trial, I thought Hannah was doped up a little bit, probably on stuff. But this view of her right now, she's not, you don't get those kind of medications, chat. Like Valium and stuff that, like, you get Seroquel, and that's about it. You're not getting antidepressants. You're not getting mood stabilizer, you know. Not to the scale she'd be using right now to be like super like emotionless. I just think for her, she still just doesn't fucking connect 2 and 2. I don't know. People said she shits the bed, but I haven't heard yet what happens.
She not the brightest.
Well, I will say from somebody who I've been on with before who's been following this, they said she seemed to not understand the fullness of the totality of the situation she was involved in. Oh shit. Let's see here. Come on. At least it wasn't like the at least it wasn't done to recorders. You know what I mean? Like it was like the you know, like all the memes of what the recorders are. Ella.
The memes with the recorders.
You know, the Titanic song where it's played on the little plastic flutes.
Oh, those little things that kids have that are super duper annoying.
Yes, that would have been funny if it was played on that.
That would have been hilarious. And that would have been good to inflict pain on her and everybody in the courtroom.
Well, I just think that was a bit much.
So far, this whole sentencing has been extremely painful.
Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, Ms. Gutierrez Reed has a statement she'd like to tell the court.
Here we go.
All right. And yes, chat, there's nothing wrong with writing out your statements. I tell my clients that all the time. If you want to write something out that shows you put some thought into it, that doesn't look like you've made it up or you've rehearsed it. No, it shows that you're serious about this. Now, some people are better about kind of riffing off in their head, and some people do that. But there's nothing wrong with her writing it out. I've seen that in other cases where people are saying like, "Oh, you can't do it." I'm like, you definitely should. Organize your thoughts. It doesn't hurt.
First and foremost, my heart aches for the Hutchins family and friends and colleagues as well.
Hold on, somebody's saying, did I pick my sentence? Yeah, I think she's gonna get. Well, I heard what she got, and I still said 12 to 14 months. So obviously I wasn't right. But here we go.
And it has since the day this tragedy occurred. Helena has been and always will be an inspiration to me. I understand she was taken too soon, and I pray that you all find peace. I am beyond grateful that Joel survived that terrible day. My heart goes out to the film industry for the devastating pain that this tragedy caused and the old wounds that have been reopened. I am saddened by the way the media sensationalized our traumatic tragedy and portrayed me as a complete monster, which has actually been the total opposite of what's been in my heart. Your Honor, when I took on Rust, I was young and I was naive, but I took my job as seriously as I knew how to. Despite not having proper time, resources, and staffing, when things got tough, I just did my best to handle it. Today, I humbly ask you to consider probation, a probation where I can contribute to society through community service, and I can continue my counseling, and I welcome any classes that you may deem necessary for me to attend. I give you my word now that I would strictly follow the rules and respect the parameters of that probation. I beg you, please don't give me more time. The jury has found me in part at fault for this god-awful tragedy, but that makes me a monster. That makes me human. Thank you.
Ugh. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Gates Bulls, you really should have kind of. Here's the other thing I will say. When it really matters, I preview what you're going to say. And sometimes I've said, hey, you probably shouldn't say this that way. Or, you really should punch this up a little bit. Or I might say, you really need to accept some responsibility in there. I'm not telling you really have to mean it, but saying I'm sorry goes a long fucking way.
No, I'm not a monster. It's really
And that's
bad how
fine.
people
She
have
can
said.
say that. I'm not a
Yeah.
monster. You can say it like this. I'm not a monster. I never meant to hurt anyone. This isn't what I wanted. I wish I could go back in time and stop this. I am truly sorry for the pain I've caused. Now, that part where she said, because it's clear, she caused pain throughout the entire film industry, apparently. Lena Hutchins was well known, apparently. Yes, the pain I've caused not only to her family, but to the countless people out there in the film industry. That could have been something important.
Yeah.
But instead, she's just like, yeah, it sucks this tragedy happened, and I'm sorry everybody feels sad, but c'est la vie. People die. It's like, no, that's not the way you handle this. Oh my God. Hannah, honey, please. Now, part of this, though, is, and I do understand, she's appealing. So if she admits, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Well, you defeat some of the, you defeat a lot of the arguments that, they didn't have enough proof. Well, she admits she did it. Okay, well, there you go. That also could be used later again, then also, but she can say, I'm sorry that this family suffered this loss. I know I didn't mean for any of this to happen. She'd say, I still didn't do this. I maintain my innocence. I didn't do any of this. I wish I could go back in time and figure out where the step happened and stop it. I wish I never took this job.
The part where she said, I know the jury found me partly responsible.
Yes, no, the jury found you 100% responsible. You were the only person on the chopping block that day.
Yes, they weren't even thinking about anyone else. You were on trial, lady.
Yeah, it was just you. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
this is just
only
not...
you.
No.
Only you.
Yeah.
You. What? Just what?
Guys, that's not how you accept responsibility there.
What?
Yes.
God.
Let her cook, let her take part, and let Alec take the rest. Well,
Kari, she's not that young.
she's under 30.
Yeah.
She's like
still
25.
a child, though. Yeah.
Hannah has a kid? Helena has a kid. Helena has a kid.
Yeah.
Helena would have been 45.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I thought you were saying Hannah isn't young. I'm like, yeah, she's under 30. She's young.
Yeah, no. Kari was saying that she's so young. That's all.
Oh.
Yeah, she's not that young.
Okay. Well, guys, a bunch of you have comments here. We're going to catch up because I think we're almost done. Let's see what happens. But oh my God, that's not how you do this.
Thank you.
Your Honor, and I believe Del Reed would like to speak to the court this time.
And this is abnormal because normally nobody's in your corner as a defendant and nobody wants to come up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh my God, he looks rough.
Brief statement. It's a horrible tragedy for that wonderful lady, Helena, to lose her life. Also be a tragedy to put my daughter Hannah in the penitentiary for that. It's alleged she introduced live ammunition on the set. That's not true. Why would she? The two people responsible for what?
Because why would she do it? Because she was trying to save money on supplies. They got there somehow. Somebody did it.
Is that Phil?
That's Del Reed, yes.
Wow. God, yeah.
He's got cancer. He's not doing so good. But
whoa.
Ever come on the set are the vendor and the property master who had to work for her. On that terrible day, they had Hannah off the set doing prop duties, and she asked him to please bring her back on when Mr. Baldwin comes so he could do a final check on the gun and its instructions. They did not do that. If they had it, this horrible day would not happen. Thank you, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the court.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just briefly, Judge, I've made most of my arguments in the written pleadings. And Judge, it's nobody in this courtroom could not be moved by what we just saw. The family, Helena's family, her friends, it was a horrible tragedy. There's no doubt about that. And it's a tragedy for everybody. There were a number of lives changed, lost. That day, her friends talked about that. And that includes Ms. Gutierrez. I just want the court to know primarily that she has felt remorse. And maybe I've talked to her as much as anybody, at least on the legal side. She's broken down. She's had mental breakdowns. She said, if only, many, many, many times. And it hasn't come out. It hasn't come out until today because of the legal proceedings and the system we have. But she has truly felt remorse, and I will tell the court that. As an officer of the court, that she has indicated that to me. This court has seen jail calls she's made. I would submit to this court that you could probably survey 100 people after something like this happens, including everybody that participated in the trial, scrutinize all of our calls, and pick out something bad that one of us said. Because, Your Honor, none of us are what we are on our best day, nor are we what we are on our worst day. And as Ms. Gutierrez said, she's human. She's flawed just like everybody else in this courtroom. We, this court, to consider fairness and respect that this was a cascade of tragedy. As some of the speakers indicated, there were multiple system failures by multiple people. Some of those people have come before the court, as this court knows, and received 6-month misdemeanor probation. Some have not been punished. Some have yet to come before the court. At least one individual is going to be tried in July. And so I know this court has the responsibility to wait.
this is not the argument. Oh, God. I said it's tough to thread that needle when you know there's other co-defendants out there. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, technically, Alec Baldwin is a co-defendant. But it's hard to do it because you have to thread that needle.
Scale of that and to determine what is commensurate and fair, as one speaker said, for Ms. Gutierrez. And what does that mean in the scope of things and what has come before this court? And I'm asking the court to consider that. and also what probation might do for her in terms of rehabilitation, which is another goal of our system, Your Honor.
Judge is like,
Anything else?
no.
No, Your Honor.
All right, so I've made some notes along the way, so if I refer to the notes and I'm not looking at tables, it's because I'm reading. First of all, thank you for your presentations. Thank the friends and family of Helena for presenting their memories and their losses of Helena. There are really three choices for sentencing before me. What the defense wants is a conditional discharge. This means straight probation, unless Ms. Gutierrez comes back on a probation violation. She won't have a felony conviction on her record, so she can continue to possess firearms. Again, unless she comes back on a probation violation and receives the imposition of the probated sentence. The second one has not been offered by counsel, but I've certainly thought of it, and it's to continue her in the Santa Fe County Detention Center. That would be for 12 months. That's all she's allowed to stay at the detention center. And then put her on probation for the rest of the time. She's facing 18 months. She's got pre-sentence confinement for about a month or so. In this scenario, she won't experience prison. She will be a convicted felon. She cannot carry a firearm under federal law and for a specific time under New Mexico law.
And the issue for that is, as an armorer, she would have to not carry them, but possess them or ammunition. So under federal law, she wouldn't be able to be an armorer because there's a federal prohibition on her possessing weapons or ammunition. And possessing them means being in charge of them. So she can't be an armorer. She can't be an assistant armorer. I mean, she could work on a set and do everything but armor work.
Do you think she was going to get work as an armorer anyway?
Allegedly, she thought she might after this is all over. She didn't really understand what was coming. I mean, I don't understand why the judge is focused on all this shit. She's talking about like she's a fucking gangbanger. It's like, I don't know. She's got Werther's mouth though too. She talks like she got some like Werther's in her mouth, or a Jolly Rancher.
And then there's prison. And the state has proposed at 85% of the time sentenced to incarceration based on the serious violent offense statute.
And that's a part I have a problem with here. A serious violent offense statute. So we have these. We have, every state's got like serious violent offender specifications. All those different things where you can use that to enhance or make a sentence longer. There are, but this is not what a serious violent offense is meant to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
She's this serious violent offense. She didn't even actually do it.
No.
This is the way this law, I guarantee you, when you talk to state legislator, how do you want this law to be used against people? They're like, oh yeah, somebody's on a movie set and they screw up, set them in prison forever. It's like, that's not what this is meant for. Once again, I said this earlier, and I don't know if you were here. No. The state is complaining that, oh, Hannah's not, they're mad at Hannah. They're mad because she won't say sorry. We'll show her. That's basically what they're doing right now.
Yeah, they're making an example of her.
Well, no, they're punishing her because she has contempt. It's contempt of court. Basically, contempt of the prosecutor. How dare her? If she did something wrong, fine, she did something wrong. But to smack her up with this statute, that's not what it's meant for. And that's a problem.
Yeah, it's for people who go around like actually being violent. It's for actually
violent criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, and the fact this falls under a violent, technically it's a homicide offense, so it's a crime of violence. This, and it's likely never sealable on a record and never expungible. But this is not what a crime of violence is when you envision it or ask 99% of the people on the street. What's a crime of violence? robbery, rape, murder, like burglary, extortion. Not, oh, you're a drunk moron and you accidentally load bullets into a gun and someone kills someone else with it. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Hold on. So yeah. So let's see what it is here, but it sounds like we're going to talk about some of these phone calls, which, oh boy. I don't know if we're going to hear them or somebody's just going to talk about them, but here we go. Sorry, it's just my rant about that.
For all the fanfare and pundits and finger pointing that has been going on for over 2 years, we were able to seat a jury of her peers who confirmed they could listen to the evidence received in court and determine the facts and apply the law. They found Ms. Gutierrez guilty of involuntary manslaughter. What were some of the poignant facts that came out during the trial? In her police interview, she proudly owned her position as armorer. On October 21st, 2021, chaos ended after the film crew walked off. Ms. Hutchins and others were trying to rig, if you will, how they were going to keep filming. And what was the defendant doing while waiting? She was loading Alec Baldwin's gun. Did she have enough time to load the weapon safely? Plenty. Did she load the weapon? Yes. With dummies and a live round. Did she check what she was loading? No. Why? Well, in her own words, most recently, in her jail calls, she didn't need to be shaking the dummies all the time. Did she check after that? No. And while you've heard her concerns about how she'll never work again as an armorer leading up to the trial, have her concerns changed? No. Here's what she says. This whole thing has been a character attack on her. Just recently, in her allocution, I'm not a monster. And what did, where is it? They talk about how much of on the phone, she and another are talking about how much of Hannah's life that they could take up, and that this is messing up her modeling career. This is while she's incarcerated, waiting for a sentence. And what does she say about the death of Helena? Hannah is dismissive of the judge talking about someone dying as a result of her actions. Hannah says she's looking at 13 months, which is ridiculous over what happened. Hannah says that people have accidents and people die. It's an unfortunate part of life, but it doesn't mean she should be in jail.
Oh, no.
A conditional discharge is not appropriate. And the second option of leaving you in the detention center would be giving you a pass you do not deserve.
Oh, my God.
I did not hear you take accountability in your allocution. You said you were sorry. You were sorry, but not you were sorry for what you did. You were sorry for it and hope they can find peace. It was your attorney that had to tell the court that you were remorseful.
Okay, I actually have been in that situation before where it's like, your attorney, like I was in court once when I had a client and the judge looked at the client and said, your attorney did a better job at apologizing to the victim than you did. And I did what I could, but yeah, oh God. Chat, remember, your phone calls. This is recorded and monitored. And once you're sentenced, it's a probation matter for the probation department. And guess who runs the probation department? The judge. Now, she got to hear those. Her probation department listened to all those phone calls. Oof.
The word remorse, a deep regret coming from a sense of guilt for past wrongs. That's not you. You're hereby sentenced as follows. Stand. I am sentencing you to 18 months of incarceration at a New Mexico Women's Correctional Facility. I find that what you did constitutes a serious violent offense It was committed in a physical.
Now, I will say this much where she's like, hold on.
You're hereby sentenced as follows. Stand.
See, at this point, I tell her, fuck off, because you're going to max me out anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, fuck you. Stan, what are you going to do? Hold me contempt? Fine.
She knows it now.
Yeah, well, she's like, Stan. I will say that
I am
part. The way
sentenced-
she's like so kind of cunty about it's like, no, you're like, no, please stand. I don't know about, but whatever. But if I was him, I'd be like, oh, fuck you. What are you going to do to me now?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Come at me.
Ooh, what are you going to do? Send me to prison? Ooh, you already said it. You tipped your hand.
You to 18 months of incarceration at a New Mexico Women's Correctional Facility. I find that what you did constitutes a serious violent offense. It was committed in a physically violent manner. A fatal gunshot done with your recklessness in the face of knowledge that your acts were reasonable.
Physically violent. When
But
was
it was
how
a serious-
physically violent?
Yeah, how is it? It's no, I'm not. Yeah. As a result of
Make it-
complete recklessness and negligence, but it's seriously violent. It's like,
Make that make sense. How is it physically violent? I don't get that bit.
well, I mean, the act of getting shot is physical violence, but this is not. I guarantee you, every other time she's done the physical violent or the serious violent offender statute, it has
Yeah.
not been anything remotely similar to this. It's been an act of true malicious violence.
Yeah.
Likely to result in serious harm. You were the armorer, the one that stood between a safe weapon and a weapon that could kill someone. You alone turned a safe weapon into a lethal weapon. But for you, Miss Hutchins would be alive, a husband would have his partner, and a little boy would have his mother. Please take her. I'm going to ask the deputies to watch how the courtroom gets cleared. Please do an order of remand to the transport order to the Department of Corrections and the judgment.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We are in recess.
All rise.
Well, that's it. See, now that's a very short sentencing. In Ohio, there's not, like I said, guys, everything's different. Like here in Ohio, you get told about like, hey, you've got hold on here. I'm bringing you back. You know, it's like, hey, in Ohio, I have to advise you of your appeal rights. You have 30 days to appeal. You might be placed upon what we used to call parole, post-release control. You face post-release control up to 2 years. If while you're on post-release control during that time, you get a new felony. Like there's a bunch of admonishments and warnings you get in my state. But in New Mexico, she's like, yeah, have fun, fuck off. Bye. Well, no, she says it like this. She's like, hold on. She's like, where she's got her, hold on, I don't have a Jolly Rancher around, but I'll put this in my mouth. So you're gonna go to prison because I don't look what that said. But
Watch out. Check on that and die.
yeah, well, that's basically how she did it. It's just, none of this doesn't exonerate Alec Baldwin at all. This does not help her. Alec Baldwin should be a little scared right now. If I were him, I would have peed a little bit. Be like, uh oh.
Well, people keep saying that she's taken the fall and that he's okay now.
He's not out of the woods at all.
Nope.
So, guys, hella hearsay for days, among other things that are out there, including apparently Scott Peterson was a good boy who did nothing wrong. You can't convince me otherwise.
Having a day off from that at the moment. He's having a hearing tomorrow, so motion to seal.
Are you writing? Are you writing him a pen? Are you his pen pal now? Are you writing to him?
No.
Dear Mr.
No.
Peterson, you should. We have an interview with you.
I shouldn't I? But actually, tomorrow got Ty Tucker, as in the Treehouse murder guy. He's having a hearing tomorrow, and it could be quite interesting because there's been lots of interviews and things, as in police interrogations, that were just happened to go missing, as in the entirety of the interrogations. Just
Now gone.
the videos, they just disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yeah,
Ooh.
they just
Interesting.
disappeared.
Interesting.
And he's going to be putting that information forth to the new judge tomorrow. So anyway, he's coming on after the hearing tomorrow night, 6:30
Oh.
p.m. Eastern.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah,
a
he
fun
is.
one to listen to, guys.
It will be. So we'll see. It could be game over tomorrow. Case could be dismissed tomorrow. We'll see.
Judge may take
then
under advisement, but yeah, may not. The judge may indicate what he's looking to do. Judge may indicate what he's looking to do. So, say we got some super chats though to catch and other comments. Unhung here for $2 says, "I'm gonna come. Let me fix Hannah. I can do it. I don't think you can fix her. She seems to be Hannah is her own person." Dina says, or Deanna, I don't know how you pronounce it. I think you said Deanna. Says, potentially criminal. Do the victim impact statements really have an impact on the sentence? I mean, I'll put it like this. Generally speaking, the court already has a rough idea of what's going on and what they're going to do. They've already heard of jail calls. They've already had their mind, for the most part, made up. Now, yes, you could have probation. It could be a guaranteed thing, and you come walk in there and you're just like, fuck everybody. Yeah, then you're going to prison. Like, that can happen. But generally speaking, for the most part, things are already set up. Besides, I don't want the victims swaying the court too much, really, at the end of the day. Now, if they all came in and said, we don't want them to go to prison or whatever, okay, then I could see that changing maybe a little bit. Ariel's a new member. Thank you. Thank you very much for your support. And Colathu saying, now she's talking about Dune. Yeah, the one. Automata saying, spoiler, the sentence is to duel Alec Baldwin. It's like, Dazun says, the thing though, Sean, it's been 2 years and their grief is like this. It's pretty crazy. These people's lives are broken this way. We've all lost in tragedy. It seems like they can't move on. Well, think about this, though. For them, they've had 2 years roughly where they haven't been able to do anything. And they've probably moved on, but now they have to come back to that grief. They put it up, they put it away for 2 years, and now they got to reopen. For some people, it's reopening a box you put on a shelf. You know, people are good at forgetting about, like, to our detriment a lot of times for our mental health. We can go like, nope, put it in a box and put it away. One more second.
Sean gone. Sean gone. It's my show now. Let me see.
I'm sorry. So I think people, I don't think they've been carrying this with them, but they moved on with their lives.
Yeah.
And now they had to sit down and come back and kind of face reality. And they had to sit down, and some of them, you know, you have to sit there and you gotta, how do I feel? What am I typing up? That it opened all the wounds again. So I like I said, I generally think these people feel the pain they felt. And I don't think they've just been messes for 2 years. They were moving on, but they had to revisit it. Nicholas Kreuzer for $10, thank you, is saying, you hear that gay shit about Games Workshop retconning female custodians into the Adeptus? Yes. That clinches the decision for me to buy a 3D printer. Any suggestions for a starter? You might want to look into a resin printer, because that way you can get the definition for the models. Resin's going to be what you want for miniatures. I see a lot of outlaw games going forward. So big problems in the Warhammer 40k universe. Mike Dennis says the Crumbly parents got the max almost with no history. Yes, and that was a political prosecution, so that's different. And it's still within the limits of time. Like it's within the law, so it's a legal sentence. Zach says, but her smile did her smile light up a room? And I didn't hear that, so no, it apparently didn't. It says, can you request the defense attorney to read your angry victim impact statement? No, you can't. Now the defendant may have family members who aren't there. You can do that. Sunshine says rainbow, rainbow, rainbow. Nico says, Sean can feel it calling in the air tonight. Hold on, I gotta do the. I apologize, guys. It's gonna get bad. I remember. Don't worry. How could
brilliant.
I ever forget? It's the first time. I
I'm so impressed.
figured how to play with the things on the mixer. Thank you, Vealhammer, by the way. I appreciate your help.
Oh, I gotta
Carrie
get
says
Bill to
she's
do
on
that.
She's on drugs. I don't think she was on drugs because there's only so many types of drugs you can get in jail. I just think she's just an idiot. Was that lady speaking Russian? Yes, her parents are Russian. And most people in Ukraine speak Russian anyway. My Dumb Movie says, "Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me for such victim impact statements as..."
That's a good one.
Yes, and as the music was playing in the mom's thing, it's like, "Helena, do 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 do, you got me on my knees, Helena, bow bow bow, Alex Trigger, he did squeeze." Yeah, it's pretty funny. Lock Kong Express says, when has a jury ever gotten it wrong? Well, that's a separate
Yeah,
issue.
never.
Well, in this case, they got it right. Let's be real, they did get it right. Rick Nikita says, female custodians, heresy of the highest order. I agree. Pendergast 21 says, got an appeal date, wish me luck, trying to catch a DA in a lie in a court of record. Good luck. Send me an email. We can talk a little more about it. I know we talked about it a little bit, but yeah, we can talk a little bit more. Now, there was another one. I thought I saved it. But some people said there's a question about, could the judge go rogue and censor more than 18 months? I mean, technically, yes. Technically, yes, the judge could do that. But what happens? You go to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals says, yeah, that ain't how that works. The maximum sentence is the maximum sentence. So the court would say they would remand her for Now, it depends how they would do it. They might go ahead and say, normally they try to do it like this. They would remand her back to sentencing. They would reverse the sentencing and say, hey, judge, you need to do this the right way. Remember, only 18 months is the maximum. And let's say she said, fine, 10 years now. The Court of Appeals would probably get it back again and say, well, I guess we'll take care of it. And since you can't figure this out, 16 months, done. Every once in a while that might happen. I've seen like one case where they kept sending it back and the trial court judge is like, no, fuck you. And then eventually they're like, all right, I guess we'll fix it. And then they took care of it. So it happens.
It wouldn't be a good look, would it, for her to go rogue?
No, and besides,
like
for her to do that, that would make her, she could be subject to reprimand, sanction, all kinds of issues on her own. She has to follow the law as well. So I mentioned this before. When I was a prosecutor, you'd have to call people and say, like, I'd be like, hey, hello, I'd be like, yeah, hi, may I speak to Helen, please? Yeah, hi, I'm Sean with the prosecutor's office. Calling about your the issues when your car was stolen last year. If as you know, through the letters and things, we've caught the guy. He's been indicted. He's facing, felony counts of theft. Before we get any too further, I'd want you to know the maximum sentence he can face is 18 months. Now,
too bad.
Well, I've heard people saying, when I would go through it and say, you have the right to voice your input. Here's what, is there any questions you have? If you could do your sentencing, what would you like to know? This guy, and I go through and tell her kind of where we are, what we're looking at, what the realities of it are. But I have people every once in a while who are like, no, I want him to go to prison for 5 years. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, literally, that's illegally impossible.
You just want him to go to prison for 5 years. Why? Because I
one time the guy had that happen. His car got stolen. It was their only means of transportation. He lost his job. His wife got put on like third chance probation because they couldn't make it to work for like 2 or 3 days in a row. Their kids got sick. It caused like they couldn't get they had a lot of problems. They almost lost their house. So yeah, I could see somebody saying, I want that guy to go to prison for 5 years. The guy was really mad. You know what I mean? Like, he caused a lot of problems. He caused a lot of harm. So I understand why the guy said that, and I said, I understand that, but I want you to understand he can only face 18 months.
That's the law. That's the law.
Yeah,
And
I know, but that's why, like, the guy wasn't just like, oh, fuck him. The guy was like, he almost ruined our fucking life and put my kids on the street because the guy was being a fucking dickhead and stole a car and joyrode around in it for 3 days.
Oh, it's not personal.
Well, I understand that, but if you almost lost your home because somebody fucked you over like that, I also understand that person has the right to take that personally.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'm gonna jump.
Okay,
Thank you for
Hella,
having me.
you're taking.
That was super fun.
All right.
Well, kind of. But it's always nice to be here.
Yes.
I'm going to be also on Solomon's channel at 10 p.m. Eastern for what's it called? Barely Interesting or something, because it's the anniversary of the Zachariah Anderson trial. Sadly,
What's Solomon's channel called?
Solomon Says.
Solomon Says. Okay.
Yeah. And also dual streaming on David's new channel, because David, as in Making Law Simple Network, is sadly off air today.
Because of the hails.
Yes, because of the hails. So his MLS God of Law. Yes. So anyway, I'll be on that at 10 p.m. Eastern to discuss day 12 of the Zachariah Anderson trial. So free Zachariah Anderson, everybody. And all the best. Lovely to see you all.
Take care, Hella.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks for being here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Alex saying, I feel like Sean should be asked for a Glock check with his lawman outfit. Well, to be funny, I mean, well, you mean because I'm dressed like this? It was funny though, when I was in the prosecutor's office, you qualified for the Glock Blue Label program, where you got, some money off because you're in law enforcement. It was kind of fun. So, but that's it. I mean, that's it for Hannah. She's going to appeal. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, we already know that. We already talked about that. So, next step's Alec Baldwin. And I don't know what's going to happen there. For him, but Joel Souza definitely looked like a man who is not done yet. So, the appeal brief should be funny to read. Yeah, we'll see. I think I got everybody's things caught up here. I think so. Souza went on to work with Alec. I understand he went on to work with Alec, but I still can hold him responsible. Maybe that's his plan, drawing him in and then burning him down. I don't know. If Alec gets off easy, I'm going to be pissed. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It all depends. We'll see what happens. Sometimes it's the way things work. And then, were you in court today? Yes, I was. Had to go out on the road a little bit. Baldwin is toast? I don't know. I mean, it's definitely worse for him than it was before, but I don't know if he's toast. So, did Hannah's brothers have fingers by the end? Oh, the guy gnawing on the back. I can't say too much. I bite my nails a lot too, so I can't make fun of him. I do that a lot. I've done it all the time. That tie goes well with the blue shirt. This tie goes well with so many shirts. It's actually really cool. Love this tie. Love pink. Pink's a very good tie color. Guys, if you're out there, get a pink tie. You can do quite a bit with a pink tie. Very stylish. This is probably the first thing Baldwin can't buy his way out of. You'll see. Brad says the judge just exonerated him. You alone turned a safe weapon into a lethal weapon. Exonerates Alec. No, it doesn't, because Alec then took that lethal weapon and killed someone with it. So she made it a lethal weapon, and then Alec Baldwin used it to be lethal. And none of that stuff that could be used on, none of that are arguments he could be used. Patty says, where's a good place to buy suits for fat men? Online. Get your measurements. Or DXL. That's a pretty good one, too. I chew on plastic lids. Yes, I have an oral fixation. Or whatever they call it. Pink tie is fine. Pink shirt is haram. No, pink shirts can be good every once in a while. You gotta do it right. You gotta do it right, but you can do a pink shirt right. See, Chinny says Baldwin has showed absolutely no remorse. Well, you don't show remorse before you get to the point where it's gonna help you. Let's see. Luke says, are we gonna cover Richard Allen tonight? Yeah, we will for everybody in members. We'll take a look at it. And then at some point coming up, we'll do more. So that is it, everybody. Thank you for being here. As much as I want to say, at least for Hannah, it's only 18 months. She should allegedly do 85%, but like I tell every client, whatever you get sentenced to, you should expect to do the entire sentence. If you get out early, great, but walk into it thinking you're doing exactly 18 months. Because who knows? The programs could change, rules could change. She might fuck up and lose good time. Presume you're doing 18 months. It's far easier to manage his expectations. Nico says 17 months now. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. So that is it for us tonight. We'll start up about 8:30 doing the locals and member stream. Kind of having a joke and having some fun. Because it looks like there's some funny stuff to talk about. Found some funny things on Twitter. And yeah, be generally a fun time. So I will see you guys shortly. And tomorrow we will get on with the George Kelly trial. And then we'll also fit in some Alec Baldwin motion work. So until next time, guys. Even though Hannah Reid did it, well, she is guilty now and she's going to prison. So she is guilty. Sorry. But Alec, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. That still works for you, Alec. Still works for you, King. All right, guys, I will see you later.